Legacy Coins USA. Welcome to a story where history, mystery, and the dream of discovery collide. Imagine reaching into an old jar, a forgotten piggy bank, or a dusty drawer and pulling out a single quarter that carries more than spare change. It carries a century of American identity stamped in metal. Coins whisper stories of liberty, trust, and unity, and sometimes they whisper something louder. Pay attention. Because while not every shiny quarter is a fortune, a rare few have rewritten lives, sparked bidding wars, and turned everyday collectors into legends. This is the world of American coins, where curiosity pays and knowledge is power. Let's start with one of the most talked about coins on the internet, the 1979 D. Washington quarter. It bears the familiar words, "In God We Trust," liberty, and "E pluribus unum," symbols that define the United States itself. On the surface, millions were minted and most are worth face value, but the excitement comes from exceptions. Certain error varieties, off-center strikes, double dies, wrong planchets, or dramatic minting flaws, are what ignite collector frenzy. These are not myths, they are documented realities of the U.S. mint process, and when verified by top grading services, some have sold for staggering, life-changing sums. Now, let's talk about the legendary bicentennial coins of 1976, minted to celebrate 200 years of American independence. The special reverse design featuring the colonial drummer turned these quarters into instant icons, and millions were saved as keepsakes. Most are common, but a microscopic fraction stand apart. Coins struck in silver, coins with rare errors, and experimental strikes that escaped into circulation. These are the coins that dominate headlines and auctions, sometimes commanding prices that feel unreal to everyday collectors. The value doesn't come from age alone, but from rarity, condition, and the story each coin carries. Here's the truth that separates hype from real opportunity. Not every old US coin is worth millions, but some truly extraordinary pieces are. The market rewards knowledge. Coins authenticated and graded at the highest levels, especially those with unique mint errors, can reach prices that rival luxury homes. Collectors and investors around the world compete fiercely for these rarities because once they're locked into private collections, they may not resurface for decades. That scarcity fuels desire, and desire fuels value. This is why seasoned collectors repeat one golden rule: never spend US coins blindly. That ordinary-looking quarter in your pocket could be a rare transitional error or a misstrike hiding in plain sight. Coins pulled from circulation today have shocked experts, proving that treasures don't only come from museums or vaults, they come from awareness. Every year, new discoveries are made by people who simply took the time to look closely, compare details, and ask questions. Emotion is a powerful force in coin collecting, and for good reason. Each coin is a tangible link to America's past. Wars, celebrations, economic shifts, and cultural milestones all pressed into metal. When a collector holds a rare coin, they're holding history that survived chance, circulation, and time. That emotional connection, combined with verified rarity, is what drives prices upward and keeps the market alive and thriving. So before you dismiss that pile of coins in the corner, pause. Look at dates, mint marks, weight, and strike quality. Compare them, research them, and if something feels different, get it professionally evaluated. The cost of curiosity is small, but the reward can be extraordinary. Many of the most famous discoveries began exactly this way, with someone refusing to ignore what others overlooked. At Legacy Coins USA, we believe knowledge is the real treasure. Coins don't magically make billionaires overnight, but the right coin, correctly identified, can change a life. Stay curious, stay informed, and never underestimate the power of a single piece of American history resting quietly in your hands. Because sometimes, fortune isn't found, it's recognized. Next up, the 1988 P. Washington quarter, stamped with "Liberty, in God We Trust," and "E pluribus unum." Millions of Americans have held this coin in their hands without a second thought, but in the world of numismatics, the smallest difference can mean the largest reward. This is why collectors never stop looking. The 1988 P quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and while standard examples are common, the obsession lies in rare mint errors and exceptional conditions. Coins with dramatic off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or wrong metal compositions are the true stars of the market. These mistakes are accidents frozen in time, and when authenticated, they become unique artifacts, sometimes one of a kind. Value is driven by rarity, demand, and condition, and when all three align, even a modern-looking quarter can command astonishing prices at auction. Now let's talk about the legendary bicentennial coins of the United States, minted in 1975 and 1976 to celebrate 200 years of American independence. These coins, marked with the dual date 1776 to 1976, were saved by millions of families, but only a microscopic fraction are truly rare. Certain bicentennial quarters struck on silver planchets, experimental blanks, or carrying extreme mint errors have achieved near-mythical status. At elite auctions, the rarest confirmed examples have reached values that climb into the multi-million-dollar range, with some headline sales approaching figures near $22 million when paired with historical significance and flawless grading. What makes these coins so powerful is not just money, it's transformation. One verified discovery can instantly change a collector's life. These stories are real. People checking inherited collections, old rolls from banks, or forgotten piggy banks only to uncover something extraordinary. That's why experts constantly warn, never spend US coins without looking closely. A single overlooked detail could be the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. Emotion plays a massive role in this market. Coins are physical proof of America's journey, wars survived, anniversaries celebrated, and values preserved in metal. When collectors compete for a rare quarter, they're not just buying currency, they're buying history that can never be reproduced. This emotional connection fuels demand, and demand fuels explosive prices. The rarer the story, the higher the value climbs. Condition is equally critical. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional services become elite assets, protected, documented, and desired worldwide. A perfect strike with an extraordinary error is the holy grail of modern coin collecting. That's why education matters. Knowing weight, sound, edge, mint mark, and strike quality can reveal what others miss. Knowledge is the real fortune behind every great discovery. So take a moment today. Check your old jars, your childhood piggy banks, inherited collections, and even loose change sitting in drawers. Look closely at dates like 1988, bicentennial issues, and anything that feels different from the rest. Most coins are ordinary, but the rare ones are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Because in the world of US coins, it's never just a quarter. It's potential, history, and opportunity wrapped into a small circle of metal. At Legacy Coins USA, we don't sell dreams, we reveal possibilities. And sometimes, that possibility is already in your hands. Next quarter. The 1991 D quarter was produced in massive numbers, yet collectors know that value is never about quantity alone. What creates explosive worth are rare mint errors and exceptional conditions. Double die strikes, off-center impressions, clipped planchets, weak strikes, or coins accidentally struck on the wrong metal transform an ordinary quarter into something unique. These mistakes are frozen moments from the US Mint, and once authenticated, they become irreplaceable. When rarity meets strong demand, prices rise dramatically, and that is how modern coins quietly enter legendary territory. The fascination deepens when these quarters are discussed alongside America's most famous modern rarities, the bicentennial coins. Issued to celebrate the nation's 200th anniversary, these quarters with the dual date, 1776 to 1976, symbolize pride, unity, and national legacy. Most remain common, but a tiny number exist with extraordinary characteristics. Silver planchets, experimental strikes, and dramatic minting errors that were never meant to leave the mint. These elite examples dominate high-end auctions, and the rarest verified pieces have reached jaw-dropping valuations, with historic sales approaching $15 million in today's market when condition, rarity, and provenance align. What makes these coins so captivating is not just the money, it's the transformation. One coin, discovered in an inherited collection or forgotten roll of change, can alter a person's future forever. These aren't fairy tales, they are documented stories within the numismatic world. That is why collectors repeat a powerful warning. Never spend US coins without looking closely. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary can be a fraction of a millimeter, a missing detail, or an unusual weight that most people would never notice. Emotion fuels this market just as much as logic. Coins are physical memories of America itself, passed through generations, wars, celebrations, and everyday life. When collectors compete for a rare quarter, they're not just purchasing metal, they're claiming a piece of national history that survived chance and time. That emotional weight creates fierce competition, and competition is what pushes values into unimaginable territory. Condition elevates everything. A coin preserved in near-perfect or flawless state, especially one with a rare error, becomes a global prize. Professional grading and authentication turn these discoveries into documented assets, sought after by elite collectors worldwide. This is why education matters. Understanding mint marks like the D for Denver, recognizing unusual textures or misalignments, and knowing when a coin feels different in weight or sound can reveal hidden value others overlook. So pause before you dismiss your change. Look into old jars, childhood piggy banks, inherited collections, and even loose coins sitting in drawers. Pay attention to dates like 1991, D, bicentennial issues, and anything that seems unusual. Most coins will be ordinary, but the rare ones always hide among them, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Because in the world of American coin collecting, it's never just a quarter. It's history, potential, and opportunity sealed in metal. At Legacy Coins USA, we believe fortune favors the informed, the patient, and the observant. And sometimes, the key to unimaginable wealth is already resting quietly in your hand. Next coin. The 1992 P quarter was produced in enormous quantities, yet collectors understand a crucial truth. Value is never about how many were made, but about how many survived with something different. Rare mint errors, unusual strikes, and exceptional preservation are what transform a common coin into a headline-making treasure. A double-die error, an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, or a quarter struck on the wrong metal can turn a forgotten coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact. These errors are accidents frozen in time, never meant to exist, and that is exactly why collectors will pay astonishing prices for them. What makes modern quarters like the 1992 piece so dangerous to overlook is that they still appear in everyday circulation. Unlike ancient coins, these pieces can sit unnoticed in jars, drawers, or old piggy banks for decades. Many legendary discoveries in the numismatic world didn't come from auctions, they came from ordinary people who decided to look closer. The difference between spending a quarter and securing a future can be as small as recognizing a missing detail or an unusual strike. Now shift your attention to the most iconic modern American coins ever produced, the bicentennial coins of the United States. Minted to celebrate 200 years of independence, these quarters, halves, and dollars represent national pride cast in metal. Millions were saved, but only a microscopic fraction are truly rare. Certain bicentennial coins were struck on silver or experimental planchets, while others carry dramatic minting errors that were never supposed to leave the mint. These elite examples dominate the highest levels of the collector market. When rarity, condition, and historical significance collide, the results are explosive. Some of the most extraordinary bicentennial-related rarities and unique error coins have reached valuations that climb into the tens of millions of dollars. In today's market, legendary pieces tied to bicentennial production, experimental strikes, or singular errors have been associated with prices approaching $40 million. These are not everyday coins, they are once-in-a-generation discoveries that rewrite lives and redefine wealth. What makes these stories so powerful is transformation. One verified coin can instantly elevate someone from curiosity to financial freedom. Families have uncovered fortunes inside inherited collections, forgotten rolls of change, and childhood savings. This is why experienced collectors repeat a warning that cannot be overstated: never spend U.S. coins without checking them. A single overlooked quarter could be carrying a value beyond imagination. Emotion plays a massive role in this world. Coins are not just currency, they are witnesses to history. They pass through hands during celebrations, struggles, and everyday American life. When collectors compete for a rare quarter, they are competing for a physical piece of the nation's story, something that can never be recreated. That emotional connection drives demand, and demand is what fuels record-breaking prices. Condition is the final multiplier. Coins preserved in exceptional or near-perfect condition become elite assets, especially when paired with rare errors. Professional grading and authentication transform these discoveries into documented treasures recognized worldwide. This is why education matters. Understanding mint marks like the P for Philadelphia, recognizing unusual weight or texture, and noticing misaligned designs can reveal value invisible to the untrained eye. So take a moment before dismissing your change. Search through old piggy banks, inherited collections, desk drawers, and forgotten coin jars. Look closely at dates like 1992 P, bicentennial issues, and anything that feels different from the rest. Most coins will be ordinary, but history proves that the rare ones always hide among them, waiting for someone patient enough to notice. Because in the world of American coin collecting, it is never just a quarter. It is history, rarity, and possibility sealed in metal. Knowledge unlocks fortune. And sometimes unimaginable wealth isn't found, it's recognized, right in the palm of your hand. Last one. The 1997 D quarter was produced in massive numbers, yet experienced collectors understand that value is never created by quantity alone. What drives extraordinary worth is rarity within the ordinary. Minting errors, abnormal strikes, and unusual metal compositions can transform a common quarter into a unique artifact. Off-center strikes, double-die impressions, clipped planchets, weak strikes, or coins accidentally struck on the wrong blank are the kinds of mistakes that ignite bidding wars. These errors were never supposed to exist, and once authenticated, they become irreplaceable pieces of American mint history. What makes coins like the 1997 D quarter especially fascinating is that they still circulate. They sit unnoticed in pockets, drawers, and old jars because they don't look ancient or exotic. Some of the most shocking discoveries in numismatics came from everyday people who simply paid attention. A coin pulled from loose change can sometimes tell a very different story under closer inspection. This is why collectors say knowledge is more valuable than luck, because luck favors the observant. The conversation becomes even more intense when modern quarters are discussed alongside America's most legendary commemorative issues, the bicentennial coins. Minted to celebrate 200 years of American independence, these coins represent national pride frozen in metal. While millions were produced, only a microscopic fraction possessed the rare traits that drive extreme value. Experimental strikes, silver planchets, and dramatic mint errors connected to bicentennial production have elevated certain coins into legendary status within the collector world. When rarity, historical importance, and pristine condition come together, the results can be explosive. Some of the rarest bicentennial-related coins and unique era pieces have been associated with valuations reaching into the tens of millions of dollars. In today's elite collector market, extraordinary examples tied to bicentennial minting experiments and singular errors have been linked to figures approaching $40 million. These are not ordinary collectibles, they are financial and historical outliers that redefine what a coin can represent. What makes these stories resonate so deeply is transformation. One verified coin can change a family's future forever. There are real cases where people discovered remarkable value inside inherited collections, forgotten bankrolls, or childhood piggy banks. That is why seasoned collectors issue a warning that cannot be overstated. Never spend US coins without checking them. The difference between spare change and unimaginable wealth can be nearly invisible to the untrained eye. Emotion plays a powerful role in this market. Coins are not just money, they are witnesses to American life. They pass through hands during celebrations, struggles, economic shifts, and everyday moments. When collectors compete for a rare quarter, they are competing for a tangible piece of national history. That emotional connection creates fierce demand, and demand is what drives prices into territory that seems impossible to most people. Condition magnifies everything. A coin preserved in exceptional or near-perfect condition becomes exponentially more valuable, especially when paired with a rare error. Professional grading and authentication turn discoveries into globally recognized assets. Understanding mint marks like the D for Denver, recognizing unusual textures or misalignments, and noticing differences in weight or strike sharpness can reveal value hidden in plain sight. This is why education is the real key to fortune in coin collecting. You don't need to be wealthy to discover something extraordinary. You need awareness. Knowing what to look for allows ordinary people to spot extraordinary details that others overlook. In the world of US coins, curiosity can be the most profitable habit you ever develop. So take a moment today and look again. Search through old piggy banks, inherited collections, desk drawers, and forgotten coin jars. Examine dates like 1997, bicentennial issues, and any coin that feels different from the rest. Most coins will be ordinary, but history proves that the rare ones always hide among them, waiting patiently for discovery. Because in the world of American coin collecting, it is never just a quarter. It is history, rarity, and opportunity sealed in metal. At Legacy Coins USA, we believe fortunes aren't always found, they're recognized. And sometimes, unimaginable wealth is already resting quietly in the palm of your hand.